Welcome back to My Two Cents. I'm Crystal McCrary Anthony. Today we're talking about celebrating African American mothers. And with us I have author of No More Drama, Sil Lai Abrams, and of course my co-host Bryonn, Bain, and the lovely Lauren Lake. As we speak about celebrating mothers, many of us, present party included, are single mothers. And that, being a mother, whether you have a man or not, represents a challenge in so many ways. But how is that challenge increased if there's not a man around?
I mean, it's hard to do it with two parents, and I'm a co-parent, so I have a partner who is, also has her own career. Which
is very modern, by the way, let me say,
Absolutely.
To say co-parent.
Right. I mean, she's not having anything but that, modern approach to our family, So, but it's difficult with two parents in the home. So, one, I can only imagine.
What have been some of your challenges as a single parent, Sil Lai?
I mean, the biggest, I would say, there's the obvious, the financial.
Sure.
I got pregnant at 19, and I was carrying on a tradition in my family where my mother got pregnant very young. She left. I wanted to have a family, and so when I got pregnant, I said, well, I can do this. I had no clue what I was getting into, and I figured, hey, how hard can it be? I mean, 19, right?
And where was the father?
Well, he was here in New York, and he was much older than me, 20 years older than me. He said he loved me. I believed him. And a month later, he was gone, and I was pregnant. And one of the issues that I really focus on is about empowerment. Why is it so important for women to have a sense of wholeness before even thinking about having a child? And for me, the way that played itself out was, here I am, I'm a young single mother, so I'm looking for someone to fill that void. I'm actively dating with the purpose of I need a dad for my kids. And so when you come out from this perspective of lack, I'm missing something, I can't do this on my own, then you set yourself up to be a victim. So here, flash forward, 5 years later, I got pregnant with my daughter. And her father physically, emotionally, and financially abused me for 5 years. And the whole tape that was playing in my head for the duration of our relationship is, I need him. I was ashamed of the fact that here I was, 20 years old, walking down the street with my baby, and everyone's thinking, that's my brother. And I was so embarrassed to be a statistic that I chose to stay in a relationship that was unhealthy, because I said, well, at least we have an intact home.
So was he involved?
He was involved with my son, and he was involved with my daughter. I mean, on that respect, he was pretty good. But honestly, how great a father can you be if you're kicking your baby's mother's behind in front of your kids?
Right. Right.
Which is a whole, I mean, that's, when you think about the impact of domestic violence on families, the great impetus for me to go out and to return to being a single parent was, I never wanted to have my front doorbell ring and have some little girl standing there saying, your son just punched me in the eye.
Because that's what he's seeing.
Exactly, because that's what they're raised.
Or I never normalized.
Right. Or to have my daughter come home after her relationship, and she's beat up, saying, "Well, that's what happened."
What about for you, Crystal, as a single mother? You're moderating, but at the same time, what have been the biggest challenges for you?
Huge challenges. Particularly because I come from a family where my parents have been married for 59 years. They'll be married 60 years this year. Ozzie and Harriet. I wanted it to work out. I mean, I think we all, as women, we don't go into something saying we don't want it to work out. But raising a 7-year-old son, a 5-year-old daughter, and doing everything by myself with, no family. It's different if you're paying someone to take care of your children, which is, a blessing for a working mother to be able to even pay for child care. But that's not the same as having the male energy to play ball with my son who's running around like a little, puppy on espresso. It's not the same as being able to just have that extra energy around the house when you are exhausted, when you walk through the door at night after working, as I frequently do. I just want 15 minutes just to decompress.
When you guys think about being a single mom, I know for me, I was single for a while before I got engaged, and I made the decision that if I didn't meet someone, I'm just not having any babies. Like, it's not in the works for me.
You said you're not going to have any if you had not
If
met
I
a
didn't
man.
meet anyone to get married to, I'm just not having any kids. And a lot of people would say to me, well, you're getting old. If you want to be a mother, and we know you want to be a mother, you need to just do it. I mean, even my mom, before she passed away for breast cancer a couple years ago, she had said to me, like, Lauren, I've never been an advocate of this, but you are getting older, and if you're thinking about this, you may. And I was like, no way. Like, I have no desire to just be a mom by myself.
Why? What about it?
It's
was
just
a
what you
turn
were
off to
talking
you?
about. Like, I just didn't know where I'm at in terms of my multitasking and my work. Like, could I do this by myself? Do I want to be pregnant, laying in the bed, feeling all these emotions, like talking to myself or talking on the phone? Do I want to be nervous about what to do next on my own? Like, you just feel like you want that support. And then ultimately, I just come from a belief system where I feel like, children should be born of marriage. And if all possible, I would want that to be that way. But marriages don't always work.
Most of them don't.
Most of them don't.
I just don't want to enter into this by myself right off the gate. I don't want to go the sperm donor with a credit card.
Right. But there's a high percentage of, especially children of color who are adopted, a very high percentage are adopted by single mothers.
And that's exactly what I consider.
Right. So I think we need to
you did actually
validate. We
consider,
need to also
I
validate
considered maybe,
that role.
but
right?
not having a child. But I did consider, maybe I would be a foster mother. Maybe I would adopt.
A lot more to touch upon this, but I think that we see that there are a few ways to go about doing this, but all of them have challenges. Stay tuned for more My 2 Cents.
I'm hating him. I'm hating my life. I look at my home as a prison.